Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on something you've probably seen a million times, but maybe never really thought about: the simple, elegant, and super precise swing of a pendulum. All right, let's kick things off with a little riddle. What in the world could a grandfather clock and a giant wrecking ball possibly have in common? I mean, they couldn't be more different, right? One is all about delicate precision, the other, well, it's about pure destruction. Well, the wild thing is, they're both run by the exact same simple, predictable laws of the pendulum. Yep, that's the secret connection. They're both perfect examples of what physicists call periodic motion, basically a rhythm that just keeps repeating itself over and over. Okay, so to really get how that works, we've got to break down what a pendulum even is. Let's take a look at its basic parts. So check it out. Any simple pendulum really only has three main parts. You've got your pivot point up top. That's the fixed spot it hangs from. Then you have the string, which has a certain length, and we'll just call that L. And hanging at the bottom is the bob, which is just some kind of mass, and we'll call that M. That's the whole setup. Super simple, right? Now, in a perfect world, the kind physicists love to imagine, we make a couple of little cheats to make the math easier. We basically pretend the string has no weight and that there's absolutely no air resistance or friction slowing things down. This just helps us focus on the pure physics of the swing, without any other messy stuff getting in the way.
All right, so we've got the parts. Now let's see how they work together to create that beautiful rhythmic swing. Let's follow the story of just one back-and-forth motion.
So before you do anything, the bob just hangs straight down, totally still. That resting spot, that's what we call the equilibrium position. Think of it like its natural, default home base. But the second you pull that bob to the side and let it go, gravity kicks in. It creates this thing called a restoring force, which is just a fancy way of saying gravity is constantly trying to pull the bob right back to where it started, back to that home base. That pull is what drives the whole swing. But it doesn't just stop at the bottom, does it? Nope. It's got momentum, so it overshoots the middle, swings up the other side, and then comes back. That entire round trip, all the way out and all the way back to the start, that's what we call one full oscillation. Now here's the key thing we want to measure: the timing of that swing. The amount of time it takes to do that one complete oscillation, that's called the period. And we usually just write it down as a capital T. Okay, and this is where it gets really cool. It turns out there's a hidden rule, a super simple formula actually, that tells you exactly how long that period is going to be. So I've got a question for you. What do you think controls how fast it swings? Is it the length of the string, or is it how heavy the bob is? I mean, your gut might tell you that a heavier weight would change the timing somehow, right? It just makes sense.
Well, get ready for this, because it's totally not what you'd expect. Our intuition is wrong. The weight of the bob has zero effect on how long the swing takes. No way! A 10-pound bob and a 1-pound bob will swing back and forth in the exact same amount of time. And get this, the angle you let it go from doesn't really matter either, as long as it's not a huge swing. The only two things that change the period are the length of the string and the force of gravity.
That's the big secret, right there. It all comes down to the length of the string and gravity. It's that simple. So, if you have a longer string, you get a longer, slower swing. A shorter string, you get a shorter, faster swing. That's all there is to it. It's just beautiful physics, isn't it? So you might be thinking, okay, that's a neat trick, but why does it matter? Well, this one simple rule is actually the secret behind some amazing real-world tech, everything from clocks to giant construction cranes. Let's look at some examples. Think about a grandfather clock. It uses a really long pendulum on purpose to get that slow, steady tick-tock, often exactly 2 seconds for a full swing. And our wrecking ball? Its crazy weight means nothing for its timing. It's all about how long the crane's cable is. Or how about a metronome for a musician? You know that little weight you can slide up and down? All that's doing is changing the pendulum's effective length, which lets you speed up or slow down the beat. So yeah, from telling time to keeping a beat, the simple pendulum is just a huge concept in physics and engineering. It's so reliable and so predictable, which is why it's such an amazing tool. It really goes to show that sometimes the simplest ideas are the most powerful ones. So, next time you see a kid on a swing set, or even just a pendant on a necklace, you'll know the secret behind its rhythm. And that leaves me with one last question for you. If a simple pendulum has this kind of elegant physics hiding inside it, what other everyday things around us are being run by these beautiful hidden laws of nature, just waiting for us to notice? Something to think about. Thanks for joining me.